What's up, everybody? It's Kevin, Midnight Garage here. Welcome to the Tech Roundtable, Episode 4. My apologies for not being on last week. Had a little bit of a medical situation. It's kind of strange, but we're back this week, and I want to give a shout out to my little boy. Turned 11 today, so happy birthday. That's also why I'm a little bit late, but family first, you know what I mean? So today we are going to do a little bit different. Like I said, I want to go over some questions that I see on some of the F-150, like 10th gen F-150 pages and other truck pages, and see if I can offer some kind of assistance or guidance with the issues that some of those guys are experiencing. So let's see. The first of which, let's do Paul Silver from the 97 to 03 F-150's Facebook page. He writes, does anyone know if they make a replacement part for the power outlet? The OEM one is apparently always on, and I want one that shuts off when I turn my truck off. Thanks for any help. Alright, so the PowerPoint that he's referring to in the 10th gens is on the lower right hand side of the steering wheel. There's two PowerPoints. A cigarette lighter and a PowerPoint, or both PowerPoints, however you want to describe them. So there should be a way, and we're going to look at the wiring diagram here and see if there's a way I can guide you to maybe accomplish what you want to accomplish without replacing the actual cigarette lighter or the PowerPoint. So let's turn around here. We're going to look at all data. All right. So I was trying to see if I can get more information on the vehicle itself, but I don't know if you replied to actually give some update on that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use my truck, which is a 2000, and see if I can help you out with that. So let's go to diagrams. We're gonna go to OE, and let's see if we can find a cigarette lighter. So let's see. I'm gonna get you guys turned a little bit. Okay. Alright, so this is the cigarette lighter in the auxiliary power socket. Okay. Now, hopefully you guys will be able to see this. I'm gonna move you a little closer here. Okay. So this is our auxiliary power socket and our cigar lighter. Now, they are controlled by the central junction box and then the battery junction box. Central junction box is going to be the one that's under the where your driver's feet are, shin area underneath the dash there. Battery junction box, of course, under the hood. So if you're referring to, and these are hot at all times, okay? Hot at all times. So that's why it's going to have constant power whenever the vehicle's not on, because it's getting power at all times. So you don't necessarily have to replace these. However, what you want to do is you want to change this section of either one to a switched power option. So let's look at, we're going to duplicate this, and let's look at something that would be a switched power or hot and start or run somewhere near these two items. So connector 227, connector 223. 2 signifying that it's in the dash. So generally 100s are in the engine bay, 200s are in the dash, 300s are in the cab or body of the vehicle, 400s would be in the trunk, usually for like a car or something. And then you got like 6, 7, 8, 9, which is like driver's door, passenger door, driver's rear door, and passenger rear door. So we're looking at something in the dash that's going to be a switched power. So let's go back and think of something in that area that only operates on switched power. Changer, I mean, that's a possibility. Something in the radio, perhaps. Probably the radio is going to be something that's the closest, I would imagine. So let's see. Radio stereo. I'm going to assume that you have a CD player. Well, let's just say you don't. Let's just say you don't. So AM, FM with cassette. We'll go to this. All right. So if we look here, you got 3 power circuits that go into the radio. Hot in start, hot at all times, and hot in accessory or run. Coming out of the central junction box into the radio, connector 225 gives us 12 volts in accessory or run. It's a black and pink wire that goes into the radio. And then, yeah, it goes to the rest of the door speakers. So, what I would say, and if you want me to send you a picture, I don't know if you hop in here and you look at this, I'll put a message in the group saying that I talked about your post. But Paul, what I would recommend you do, pull out the bezel, center bezel of the truck, slide the radio out, look at the connector on the back side of that radio, which it should just be the major one. There may be 2, but you're looking for a black and pink wire. And I don't know if you may have a power probe or a test light or something like that, but you can use that circuit to power one of your cigarette lighters so that they turn off when the truck turns off. Now be mindful, that circuit is a 5 amp rated circuit. Whatever you're plugging into, whichever one that you are using, can't use more than 5 amps. So there are other options, other circuits that you could probably tap into in that area. Either maybe for the I mean, you got like the heater controls right in there. I mean, that's just the illumination though. So I don't know if that would probably be a good area. I mean, the central junction box is really not that far away from where you're trying to get to. So there's a multitude of different circuits that you could tap into there that are already switched, key switched power. Cut the wire, or give yourself a little leeway. Don't cut it right at the end of the connector for the power point or the the cigarette lighter. But get a length of wire or so. I mean, this is a wire, but get you a little length of wire, snip, and tap into a switched power circuit. That way you're not buying anything to replace your power point and your cigarette lighter. But that is a solution for your issue. If you have any other questions, or you want me to shoot you a picture of this diagram, just leave me a comment, shoot me a message. I'll be happy to help you, man. All right. So that was Paul Silver. Let's see. The next one we'll do Brandon, and I'm sorry if I butcher your name, bro. Your last name. Brandon Yazdi. I'm so sorry if I butchered your name. From the 10th Gen F-150 Questions, Any and All page on Facebook. Brandon says, truck takes a long time cranking before it starts up. Once it's been running and warm, it starts right up. Used to only be a problem in winter, but now it's doing it in the heat of the summer as well. Got a lean code on both banks and rough idle that showed up at the same time as this started. I've checked all vacuum lines, PCV, intake, can't find any vacuum leaks. Okay. So, Brandon, I am also going to assume you have a 10th Gen F-150 of some sort. Hard starting. And I don't want to say this is like an all the time, without a doubt problem, but I will say that a lot of the times it has to do with fuel pressure. And there was a continuation to your post on there, but I have it on this phone, not this phone, so I took a picture of it from this phone, on this phone, so I don't see the continuation of what your thought process was. However, fuel pressure. So one way to see if you have adequate fuel pressure is to use the little Schrader valve that's on the fuel rail, passenger side. The little cap off looks like a tire pressure cap. There's a little, literally looks like where you would put air in a tire. You can take like a little screwdriver or something, and after you crank it and it doesn't fire, push it on that little Schrader valve, see if fuel pops out. If it does, or if it's like a very, very weak stream, chances are your fuel pump is about to leave the chat. Or you may have a fuel volume problem, like a fuel delivery problem. So that can be fuel filter. When's the last time you changed your fuel filter? Okay. I will bring up that on the steps here, which, I mean, it's pretty simple, pretty cut and dry. You gotta drop the tank to change the fuel pump, or if you have a lift, you can lift the bed off, or if you got like a couple of, really good friends, like at least 4 of them, you can probably lift the bed. I mean, we used to do that at the dealership. I mean, on a Ranger, but anything's possible, bro. Especially with some beer and a pizza. So let's go to powertrain management. Go to fuel delivery and air induction. Fuel pump. Procedures. Okay, remove the fuel tank. Clean the area around the pump. Fuel tank removal is going to be lifting the vehicle up. You gotta take the straps off. Once you get the straps off, it's actually it's the straps and then this whole skid plate thing here. That sucker's heavy, so be careful when you take that off. Once you get that off, there's 2 straps around the tank. I think it should be 2 bolts on the inner side of the tank, like the middle part of the truck. The other side is just held in there by this little bar, and it kind of just sits in this little recessed area. But once you get that off, use a floor jack, or if you have one of those transmission jacks, lower the tank down, I want to say it's like 8 bolts, like little 8mm bolts on top of the fuel pump. Slide those out, change the pump assembly. And I always recommend, don't shoot me in the comments, but I always recommend changing the fuel pump assembly. The whole thing, the sending unit, the pump, everything. You can save $1 or $2 by buying just the pump. However, that fuel sender assembly has been in that tank as long as that pump has. That fuel sender assembly has been exposed to raw fuel as long as that pump has. And the pump has failed or is about to fail. Why not change the whole assembly and make everything fresh and brand new? Especially if you don't want to have problems with fuel gauge reading down the road. So, hard crank or hard start, extended crank, fuel delivery, fuel volume, most of the time is the issue. I had that problem on my truck, and I already knew it was going to be a fuel problem. So I dropped the tank. This was before I had the lift in here. Land on the ground with 2 jacks. I used 2 jacks, one on the front, one on the back, and I had like this whole like leg up freaking foot action trying to keep it level. Got the tank out, dropped it down. I went for the cheapest option fuel pump. I think I bought it on eBay for like $30, whole assembly. And the fuel hose that they use between the pump and the actual tube that sends the fuel out to the engine was not fuel rated. Literally, I'm dead serious. It wasn't fuel rated. So I got all that out, put the new one in, put it all back together. I think I drove my truck for, 4 days and completely just freaking falling on its face, giving it gas. It's like stumbling. It only wants to idle. So I'm like, what the heck is going on? I was searching through a whole bunch of crap. I'm like, there's no way. Ended up dropping the tank again to inspect that fuel pump. And sure as heck, that non-rated fuel line had burst. So my fuel pressure was just going through the pump, out of this little tube, back into the gas tank. Never making its way to the engine. So, sorry, I'm getting off my soapbox here. Go with quality parts. Don't have to be OEM. Get the whole assembly. Avoid issues in the long run. But I feel like your issue is fuel delivery, fuel volume. If you want to just start from square one, the cheapest, quickest way, change your fuel filter. It is under the truck on the driver's side frame rail, about in line where your driver's door handle is. So if you went to your driver's door handle, laid on the ground and slid under the truck and looked inside the C channel frame rail, your fuel filter's right there. Little quick disconnects. You'll need like a fuel line removal tool. Pop that thing off, put a new one on there, prime the key a couple times, and see if your concern is gone. Might be $30-$40, maybe, total. All right, Brandon, I hope that gives you some indication. I hope that you get your issue resolved. Again, if you have anything else, drop me a comment, shoot me a message. Midnight Garage LLC on Facebook, or Midnight Garage LLC on Instagram. Of course, Instagram has little underscores because you can't put spaces for some reason. Yeah. Or Midnight Garage on YouTube. Either way. All right, moving on. Let's do... Kenneth Urbany. Sorry if I butchered your name. I apologize so much. This one was, I actually started trying to pre-look up the vehicle information on this, but this kind of piqued my interest. So Kenneth, 9703 F-150s. Quick question. I am trying to swap out my instrument cluster to one with a TAC. 4 dealers said they couldn't do it. I know there's a way of doing it. Does anyone here know how? Photo for attention. Kenneth. So you are diving into some electrical things, my brother. So I have a 99 F-150. You said it was just a bare bones F-150, two-wheel drive. I chose a 4.6. So here's the issue. And the reason why the Ford dealer probably wouldn't do it. I worked at a Ford dealership here in Las Vegas. The issue is the vehicle was not engineered with a tack. So the harness is not going to have the wiring necessary for that. So if you're swapping out your instrument cluster that doesn't have a tack for one that does, there's not going to be any input wiring for the tack, okay? Is there a way to do it? Yes. I would want to know where you're getting, what vehicle you got your tachometer from, or your instrument cluster from. So let's, we'll use my truck again. 2000 F-150 four-wheel drive. And let's go to instrument gauges, panels. Let's see if we can find the tachometer, speedometer, head, speedometer module. What is this going to be? Oh, a 2000. Hey, what's up, man? A 2000 F-150 from the junkyard. Okay. All right. So let's look at maybe the speedometer head, maybe. I want to get to. Let's do this. Diagrams. OE diagrams. Brake lamp, charging system, serial lighter. So I would say, in my brain, the one of the ways that you're going to have to do this is to use the crankshaft position sensor harness wiring, because that is what's going to give you your RPM. The crankshaft. I'm his son, the owner of the truck. Oh, for sure. Cool. So you're gonna the crankshaft position sensor is what gives the car the RPM signal, right? Your tachometer. That sensor sends the information out to the PCM. The PCM interprets that information, either sends it straight to the instrument cluster. Yeah, it would have to go that way because our trucks are too old to have like all these, a super complicated network. So from the crankshaft position sensor to the engine computer to the instrument cluster. So let me see if I can find wiring diagram for specifically that. It wouldn't be under powertrain management. Information bus, maybe. So restraints, I'm going to turn it a little bit here. Let's see what we can find here. Okay, so this is all network stuff. Oh, okay, so here's the instrument cluster network. Is that gonna, that's probably not gonna be too helpful. So I want to look up. So I kind of like got off track a little bit. So one way that I was thinking that you're probably going to have to do this is you're going to have to utilize the crankshaft position sensor wiring and get that to the back of your new cluster. And the reason why I want to look and see if I can find like the OE wiring for that. I don't know why I'm having such a brain fart right now trying to find this. There we go. Instrument panel, gauges, warning indicators. Is because like if that circuit isn't in there because your truck didn't have a tack, you're gonna have to be like stringing wire through the engine bay, through the firewall, up into the cab, and then through the dash to the back of the instrument cluster. So instrument cluster carrier. So let's see if we can, is there any diagrams over here? No, components. Back. Okay. So we got microprocessor in there, brake indicators, airbags, charge indicator, fashion safety belts, park brake, general electronic module. Usually that's going to be for like the body and all that stuff. Central timer module, that's for PATs. Microprocessor, instrument cluster, fuel pump, engine oil pressure switch, brake fluid level indicator. These are all just instrumentation, lighting, speed control servo. I mean, that's for your cruise control. Anti-lock brakes, door, rear anti-lock brakes, four-wheel drive. Not going to work. I don't see something like that in here. Let me look at RPM signal. So we'll go to diagrams. We'll go to OE, powertrain. Powertrain management, non-biofuel models. Okay. Intake air temp sensor, turbine shaft speed sensor, which I think there was another question one of the other guys on one of the pages had about that. They were having issues with their speedometer floating. And I thought about covering that one, but this one kind of piqued my interest a little bit more. Oxygen sensors, camshaft position sensor, almost there. Where are you, crankshaft sensor? Knock sensor, throttle, DPFE, transfer case speed. Come on. Fuel pump. Did I pass it? Did I miss it? Output shaft speed, speed turbo, overhead console. Did I miss it? I must have missed it. Idle air control, does all the fuel injectors. Canister vent, EGR, evap purge, oxygen sensor, heated oxygen sensor. Where the heck is the crankshaft position sensor? CMP sensor. Battery junction box, instrument cluster. That is insane. Okay. Let's do this. So we'll do vehicle, powertrain management, computers, control systems. Hey, what's up, Josh? So let's do crankshaft position sensor. Of course, it gives me no wiring diagram for it. That's the downside of our trucks. They're so old, like a lot of this doesn't give like full wiring diagrams and everything. So that's going to be an issue. Same one I went to. And I bet you this is going to take me to the same ones. Yep, electrical, biofuels and non-biofuels. We'll try this one and see. If not, then you might be a little bit out of luck, my brother. I'll explain why. See, camshaft, camshaft, camshaft. It doesn't show me the crankshaft. That's crazy. Speed servo. Okay, so is it possible? Yes. How do we do it? It's not easy. So the crankshaft position sensor is what's responsible for giving you your RPM signal, or the fact that the engine is turning. That's what's responsible for your RPMs. Your vehicle didn't have one to display on the instrument cluster. And you are switching to an analog gauge cluster with a tach. And you want it to work. I don't think that, without looking at the actual what's responsible in the instrument cluster to do that, if it's a direct wire from the PCM to the instrument cluster, like in the big main connector, if that's the case, then I would say that you would use the crankshaft position sensor wire to tap into that pin on the back of your instrument cluster. But if it is like a microprocessor that's in the instrument cluster and that signal is translated to that analog gauge, then I'm gonna say it's not possible without the harness already being set up for that. I mean, there's other digital tachs that you can use, like, that are not part of an OE cluster. But specifically to answer your question about swapping an instrument cluster in there, I need to see what that looks like on paper as far as wiring. Since our trucks are too old and these diagrams are not really helpful at this moment, I don't think I can fully answer your question. I would say, just to give you some kind of answer at all from me, I would say that what you're asking to do is going to be way too complicated. Especially if the vehicle wasn't even engineered with a tach at all. That crankshaft position sensor signal is strictly for the PCM to let it know that the engine is turning. That's it. I would have to trace the wire from the crankshaft position sensor all the way up to the PCM. But then from that point, in my truck, it would go to the instrument cluster somewhere. Oh, you know what? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So let's see if we can find the connector. I told you, this one piqued my interest. So let's see if we can find the connector for that. And if we can find the connector for the instrument cluster for my truck, then maybe it'll tell us which one is the tachometer. Let's give it a shot. But if we can't find it, unfortunately, my friend, you're shit out of luck. Stephanie! Welcome to the Roundtable. We were talking about trying to put something into a truck that wasn't designed to be in it, in a nutshell. But if you have questions about your car, let me know. You can just type it in the comments and I'll see it. So what was that on? Diagrams. We're going to look at connector views and airflow meter, clutch control assembly, cruise control, servo, engine computer, come on, instrument cluster. There we go. Instrument panel gauges and warning indicators. So let's see if that helps us. I'm going to turn you so you can see. So instrument cluster pinout. So here we go. So we got the ground, charge indicator, right turn, power, high beam, airbag, speed control, servo input. Anti-lock brakes, brake warning indicator, brake fluid indicator, oil pressure. So that was 236, which is a white connector on the back of it. This is 237, which is a black connector. J1850 bus, that's the network. Fuel level, door jar, fashion safety, passenger, not used, ground, and illumination feed. So I'm going to say that that information is distributed over the network and is interpreted by the microprocessor in that instrument cluster. So Ryan, unfortunately, I do not think it's going to be possible for you to take a 2000 F-150 instrument panel or instrument cluster and put it into your vehicle that did not have one already in it. Because it appears based on the connectors that's on that 2000 that it was communicated by the network. And the instrument cluster is what moved that gauge. You are not going to get that same information since your truck didn't have it, is what I'm going to say. That's not going to be a function in on your network. So that's what I'm going to say on that. If anybody feels any other type of way, put it down in the comments. Let's talk about it. See how I did there? Let's talk about it. Or midnight. Yeah, night's roundtable. All right. Yeah, let's talk about it. But I really don't feel like it's going to be possible. I feel like you're you're trying to do something that's just, it's going to be way too complicated, dude. You might as well just get like a digital tack and hook that up, either to like your camshaft signal maybe, or the coil, like the primary coil circuit. But even that's kind of crazy as well. But yeah, sorry, man, but I appreciate you, dude. I really do. Keep throwing questions out there, man. If I can figure out a way to help you, then I will do such a thing. I really appreciate you guys hopping in. Like I said, I know it was a little bit late, but let's see. Let's see if I can find one more, something that's like fresh. Let's see. It's been forever since I've actually like typed in my password. So let's see. Let's go to 97 03 Ep.4 group. I don't know if it's going to let me do it because I'm actually live on this profile. It might not let me do it. Or maybe. Christopher White. Is it easier to rebuild the motor or replace the motor? 2002 Ford F-150 5.4. Depends on how deep you want to go, Chris. If you're looking for a three-man block, or if you're looking for like a donor, or you don't care about mileage, then if you are somewhere in the world where 5.4 liters are plentiful, just find yourself a lower mileage one. Get you a rebuild or like a resealing kit, like head gaskets, valve stem seals, yada yada yada, and refresh it and throw it in. If you want to rebuild the one that you have to like, I don't know, like a racing spec, or like to stock and like mill the deck and do all that stuff, dude, it's gonna be such a pain in the butt. Either way, whether you get a donor one from a wrecking yard or you pull yours out and do all the things, it's gonna be, you're doing both essentially, my friend. You're doing both. However, if your truck is still drivable, I would recommend get a donor one. If you get it from a junkyard and you don't know the condition of it, That's risky, but if you can get one from like a salvage yard that they've tested it and you at least know it's running, bro, put it on a freaking engine stand, change out the head gaskets, the valve stem seals, the valve covers, the front and rear oil seals. Make that thing super sealed up and super clean. You can even lap some valves while you have it out. You're going to end up doing both, my friend. But, yeah. Let's see if I can leave a comment on it. All right. I left a comment on it, Chris. Hopefully you can see it. I don't know if it's going to mess up anything being live and also commenting stuff. So, all right, guys. I do appreciate you. I'm going to end the live here. Next week, we'll go over some other questions. I appreciate you guys. Leave me some comments. Shoot me some messages. And, yeah. Thanks for being a part of the Roundtable. Hope to see you guys again next week. Take it easy.